Good afternoon, mariners. This is your Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for Sunday, March the 8th. It will be valid through Friday, March the 13th, and it has been prepared by the Tropical Analysis and Forecast Branch at the National Hurricane Center. We'll start with a summary of hazards expected over the next 5 days. No gales or very large swell events are expected in any of our basins. However, there are two areas of potentially hazardous conditions that we wanted to mention. First is in the South Central Caribbean, just offshore of Colombia. We do expect to see continued pulsing of strong to near gale winds and seas reaching 11 feet through midweek. Secondly, in the Gulf of America and in the far western Atlantic, a cold front is expected to move offshore Wednesday night and bring strong winds and rough seas. We'll start by looking at the current conditions as of Sunday morning. The focus is really this area of fresh to strong easterly trade winds and associated rough seas in the central and eastern Caribbean, as well as the far western Atlantic. And this pattern is really being driven by high pressure to our north and the pressure gradient between the high pressure and this low over Colombia, where we're seeing pulsing strong to near gale force winds. And this pattern is really going to drive the story for the next several days. Not much change as we move into Monday, with high pressure well established in the northern portion of our waters and continued strong to near gale force pulsing winds in the evenings just offshore of Colombia in the south central Caribbean. As we move into Tuesday, again, little change with continued pulsing winds to potentially near gale force offshore of Colombia. And we do also see in the western Gulf southeasterly flow picking up in advance of a developing low pressure system over the U.S. Moving into Wednesday, we continue to see pulsing strong winds offshore of the coast of Colombia, as well as an area of rough seas. And in the Gulf, the southeasterly winds continue to pick up in advance of an approaching cold front. On Wednesday night and into Thursday, a strong cold front will push into the Gulf waters and approach the east coast of the U.S. Behind the cold front in the northwestern Gulf, we expect to see an area of strong northerly winds and building seas. During the day on Thursday, as the front progresses off of the east coast of the U.S., we expect to see strong northerly winds in the extreme northwestern portion of our Atlantic waters as well. And finally, as we move into Friday morning, conditions generally improve across much of our waters. As the front pushes offshore of the U.S. and begins to weaken, we still will see an area of residual rough seas in the extreme northwestern portion of our Atlantic waters associated with the frontal passage. To summarize, no gales or very large swell events are expected in the next 5 days. However, we will continue to see pulsing strong to near gale force winds just offshore of Colombia in the south central Caribbean, and we'll be keeping our eyes on a strong cold front that will push into the Gulf of America later this week, Wednesday night and into Thursday. This concludes the Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for Sunday, March the 8th. The next briefing will be issued by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, March the 12th. And as always, you can get the latest information at hurricanes.gov/marine. Stay safe, everyone.